friends, I decided to film a vlog this week because I have two readathons going on, the Clear Your Shit readathon and the Love in the Night readathon, so I figured why not give you all a chance to check in with me as I go through this week. So here we go. Hi guys. Okay, so it is Monday night and I am in the middle of two readathons this week, so I thought I'd try and vlog. Last time I did a vlog, I didn't end up liking it, but I think I'm going to focus on talking about books and try and fill in with less cutesy stuff about me, like filling up a coffee cup or making food. It didn't feel very me to be doing those things. So I'm going to stick with books. I'm basically done with my day. I'm going to finish off the night with some reading, but I kind of wanted to talk to you about where I'm at because I have the Love in the Night readathon and the Clear Your Shelf readathon. I started on books for that yesterday. The first book I started was Bridge of Clay by Marcus Zuzak. So I'm about 70 pages in. So far, the writing is very like whimsical and flowery, similar to The Book Thief, but I don't feel like it works as well. It always takes me some time to get used to the writing in The Book Thief as well, so I'm holding out hope. Not as invested in the story yet either. You've met all five Dunbar brothers, and their like teenage shenanigans were kind of fun to read about. You've also talked a little bit about the father coming back, and they have a mule apparently who sometimes gets in the house. And I just got to a part where you were like meeting the grandfather, who is somehow connected to this family secret. So I'm hoping to get a little bit farther into this probably tomorrow. So I started that yesterday, didn't read any of it today, but I'm going to pick it back up tomorrow. I also started Mouse by Art Spiegelman yesterday, so this is volume 1, and I finished it today. So this was going in the Clear Your Shit readathon, the animal prompt. I really enjoyed this. I knew it was going to be an interesting take on World War II, just because I never read a graphic novel about the topic. I do read about World War II quite a bit. It's the point of view of a son writing about his father's experience in the war. His father was living in Poland, was Jewish, his mother was Jewish, his father's now living with his stepmom. And you actually get to see a lot of the father-son dynamic. He keeps going over in this comic to see his father and learn more about what's happening so he can make the comic. And before, you get into the World War II story, you always see a few panels of him interacting with his father or his stepmother. And he's very honest about the relationship he has with his father, about the struggles his father and his stepmother are having. And so I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting just a war story, and so far it's been a lot more than that. So I'm definitely going to be picking up volume 2. It'll probably be a while, but I am excited to eventually pick that up. One book down for the week. I have so many more. Tonight, my goal is to also finish Bunnicula. This is by Deborah and James Howe. So I love this edition. It's nice and velvety. I know I've shown you guys, but it also has like little carrot artwork in the front, some bunny arts. In the back, it has like people have drawn as Bunnicula through the ages and some like kids artwork about Bunnicula. So I think that'll be really fun to get to. This is going in my vampire prompt for Love in the Night readathon. It is not a romance in any way, but it is a vampire novel, and that was one of the prompts, and I wanted to read this. So I haven't started it, but it's only about 90 pages. I feel like I can fit it in before I go to bed and have plenty of time. So I also had a few other things on my list to do today. I wanted to work on coding and writing because since school has started, I've basically let those go to the wayside. I think I've written like 2 or 3 days since the school year started, and about the same with coding. I did a good 20 minutes of both of those, which is not anywhere near what I want, but it's what's reasonable. I am going to work on this book and then go to bed and get ready for tomorrow. So I'll see you Tuesday. I'll probably be wearing not gray because I know this is like white background. I'm pale. This is gray. You don't have a lot of color going on today. Tomorrow, I promise, I'll be in a more colorful atmosphere. So see you then. It is, my cat is already playing with my feet. It's Tuesday night. I wanted to offer you more color yesterday, so here we are. I'll be honest, this is the week that was stressing me out because one readathon is just this week, the Love in the Night readathon, and then my other readathon, I ended up picking big books for the 3 prompts for this week. So I was a little concerned that I wouldn't finish, which like I went into this knowing I wasn't going to finish, so I just need to get over it. But my brain doesn't work that way. So let's talk books. Bunnicula, I did end up finishing last night. It was a really good book. I'd forgotten, like I knew the premise, and it's a short book, so I knew I was going to enjoy it. But yeah, there were some parts in there that really made me chuckle. So I want to read just a few little excerpts. So this is narrated by Harold the dog, and he has his family, and then he has another pet, Chester the cat, and they, of course, get a rabbit, Bunnicula, who they think is a vampire rabbit. So this first part is one of the kids in this family was telling Harold that he was reading Treasure Island, and then it had parrots in it as their pet. And it says, I curled up at the foot of the bed, but I couldn't sleep, trying to figure out what a parrot was. I thought it might be a lady pirate, since the word sounded something alike. But then again, I thought it might be an umbrella. I don't know why that made me chuckle so much, but just the idea of this dog trying to figure out what the word parrot meant and thinking umbrella or lady pirate, those two choices just made me smile. So, and then there's another part where Chester is convinced that Bunnicula is a vampire and Harold doesn't get it. The first sign that Bunnicula may be a vampire is that they found a tomato that had all the juice sucked out and had turned white. And then they kept finding vegetables that were turned white and just lifeless. And so Chester says, no, we have canines, not fangs. That's different. What's different about it? Fangs are more pointed, and vampires use fangs to bite people on the neck. Yuck, who'd want to do that? Vampires would. Wait a minute, said Harold. I saw Miss Monroe bite Mr. Monroe on the neck once. Does that mean she's a vampire? Boy, are you dumb. She's not a vampire, she's a lawyer. She bites necks. I don't think that's quite the same thing. Now, Bunnicula does not bite people on the neck. At least not so far. But he does bite vegetables, said Chester. On the neck? Harold asked. That conversation I immediately marked that conversation because, first of all, throwing in that reference to Mr. and Mrs. Monroe, did not catch that as a child. Also, Harold asking if he bites vegetables on the neck just got me. That was amazing. And there were so many little jokes in this that I do not remember at all, but really made this read a fun one the second time around. Okay, so finishing off the night, I'm going to read a little bit of The Huntress, probably just get started, maybe like the first few chapters. So in this book, one of the main characters, which I don't even know her name, it does have a nice pronunciation guide. So Tyson, I think, is the girl in the front, maybe. So Tyson is a sage, and she's had a vision that the girl she loves is being sent off on a quest and is going to die. She just knows that she's in love with this girl. She knows that this girl is going to die. They're in class together, but they've never really been friends or really had conversations. So that's where this book starts. That's all I've read so far. I'm like on page 9. So we'll see how this one continues. I'm hoping to get like not very much farther because I need to go to sleep. This has a good romance. This is the LGBTQ plus read that I chose. I also have this big book, which is my intimidating book for the Clear Your Shit Readathon, and that is Bridge of Clay. I've gotten a little bit farther. I read another like 100 pages today, and I probably won't read anymore. I'll switch to Huntress. I'm starting to like it more. It leaves little nuggets of information, just casually mentions things that you're like, oh wait, I want to know more about this. So you want to keep reading. There's also a super cute romance that's starting to happen about Clay, who's kind of misunderstood a little bit because he's just almost silent. He doesn't talk very much. He likes to hang out like on the roof. He likes to go hang out like in this back like trash dump area. And so apparently this girl Carrie, who lives across the street, kind of understands these quirks about him, and they love to read the same books. And so Clay's just made a big decision, which I won't give that away, but his brothers don't like it, don't understand it. They're sad to see him go, but one of them also just basically said, like, don't come home unless you're ready to face the consequences of this decision. So he's leaving them, he's leaving Carrie. Carrie wrote him just like the most beautiful little note and gave him all these cute little gifts, and it was very heartwarming. But I'm still not 100% bought into this. I think at the end of the day, it's probably going to be a middle of the road kind of book, but still enjoyable. And part of the reason why I picked this as my intimidating book is because Marcus Zusak wrote The Book Thief, and I love The Book Thief. So I was worried that this book would maybe not be something I love, but I can tell already that even though I won't love it, it's not going to be low enough rated that I change my opinion about Marcus Zusak as an author. So, all right, I will see you all tomorrow. I have tomorrow off, and I have created an unachievable to-do list similar to my unachievable TBR. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. All right, bye guys. All right, lovely people, it is Wednesday. Today was my day off, and I was super productive. I know I told you yesterday that I had an unachievable to-do list, and that remains true. I did not get through with everything, but I got through with most of it, so I feel good about the day. I did about an hour of cleaning. I did about 3.5, 4 hours of schoolwork, and that just got me through like enough for Thursday and Friday. I also did give myself lots of reading time. I gave myself some like free craft time, and I played some Animal Crossing. I got a new villager, Paolo. I'll put him up on the screen. He's a cutie. I'm super excited to have this little pink elephant running around my village. If you play Animal Crossing, let me know. We should be friends. Only things I didn't get done, I still didn't do any writing. My brain does not want to write lately, and I don't know how to fix that. I don't want to force it, you know what I mean? But I think I just need to. I also did not work on my coding, which I really wanted to. But let's talk about books. So I'm in the middle of 2 books, and actually I'm listening to an audiobook that I've completely forgotten to talk about. So we'll talk about that one as well. But let's start with Love in the Night. So that's the week-long readathon. We've got like 3 days left. Right now reading Huntress. It has a really cool cover. I do like it. So intense. The book right now is a 3-star for me. I really was struggling because I was like, I can't put my finger on what's holding me back from like really just loving this book, because it has everything you could want. It has really good characters. It has some really good like forest scenes, which I've loved. It doesn't hold back. I mean, the forest, spoiler alert, the forest has taken some people. Not everyone lives. And there is magic. I don't feel like it's super well explained. It's definitely a soft magic system, but that hasn't bothered me. And so I couldn't put my finger on like what's been bothering me so far, because I'm definitely past the halfway point, and I just don't know what more I would want from it. Thinking it could be one of 2 things. First of all, they've been traveling for like most of this story. So they found out that they need to go do this quest, and then they've been going to meet the Fairy Queen. So they've been traveling since the beginning of the book, which is not always my favorite thing. And so it could be that. I also feel like there has yet to be anything super unique. Like everything is well done, but it's all pretty tropey. There's one girl who is a sage. She's a daughter of a blacksmith. So she feels like she has to work super hard to prove her place. She feels like she follows all the rules. She doesn't want to fall in love because sages are supposed to take a vow of celibacy. And so she's battling with this like, I like this girl, but I'm a sage and I've worked hard to be here and I don't want to disappoint my family. And the girl she's in love with is the daughter of a like high councilman, very prominent, and her father wants to marry her off to a guy she doesn't know, also very standard. And so she's kind of going on this quest with the hopes of like, maybe I won't have to come back and marry this guy. I like girls, so that's not going to be a happy ending for me no matter what. Everything is well done, but none of it is standing out to me. So right now this is going to be a 3-star. If the conclusion, like maybe the final battle or however this plays out with the Fae Queen, if that is really cool, I could see it bumping up to a 4 pretty easily, because I feel like it just needs like a little bit more to get there. It has potential. Also been working, of course, through Bridge of Clay. This is for my other readathon, and it's my intimidating book. So I am going to give some spoilers for this. So if you don't want spoilers, skip until you don't see me holding up the book anymore. Yesterday, I talked about Clay making a big choice, and I am struggling with that big choice. I just hope it's more than what it has played out to be, because his father came and was like, hey, I need help building a bridge because the river is about to get really high and I can't build this bridge on my own. Which, like, you could hire somebody, but I don't know. So anyway, he comes home and the brothers are like, nah, you left. Like, you just left us to live on our own after mom died. And Clay decides to go help his father. And so his brothers are like, well, if you go help him, like, basically you're turning your back on us. We all love you, but there are going to be consequences to this choice. And the back of this, the synopsis of this, and some of the hints that they've given make it seem like it's going to be more than that. So I don't know. I've just gotten to the part where they started building the bridge. I don't know if there's going to be more to this. Like, is there something tragic that happens to the dad or one of the brothers? They also hint, because their nickname for the dad is the murderer. So maybe that could be something, but also it could be like, you left our mom and like killed our family. You know, like metaphorical murder. I'm assuming, based on the fact that he's not in jail, that he's not an actual murderer. I'm hoping it's more. I'm hoping there's more than just I go help my dad build a bridge and then reconcile with my brothers. I need it to be more than that. I don't think it's going to be a 4-star, but I definitely want more than just building a bridge with my dad, especially considering it's such a big book, you know. Another one I completely forgot to mention is Blood Oath. I'm listening to this on audiobook. My boyfriend gave it to me because it's kind of like a parody, very camp feel, and I've been talking to him about it, and I'm like, when did you read this? Because I'm surprised you recommended this to me. And as we're listening together on the audiobook, he realized that he may not remember it as well as he thought. So far, this book is so bad it's hilarious, I think. The narrator on this audiobook is by far, leaps and bounds, the worst one I have ever listened to. And I'm sorry if you're the person who narrated Blood Oath, but oh gosh, anytime a character is annoying, they portray them as loud. And so there's like 3 or 4 frat boy characters, which already is not my favorite. The narrator just makes them annoying by yelling, and I don't like it. And then there's a German character, and it's bad. It is someone who cannot do accents doing an accent. Bad. And usually if you can't do accents, you say like 1 or 2 sentences. You don't narrate a book. So, and then the worst part probably is when he has to do a girl voice. He makes them like this. Like, they all talk very slow and wispy and just sound so stupid. And there's 3 or 4 girls that he talks like that for. So that's like 75% of the problem with this book. And then there is the ridiculousness of the plot. This is about Zach, who was trying to work his way up to eventually become president, but instead gets kind of pushed off to this side group, which is like a branch of the government that no one knows about. So he's not happy about being shoved off here. And he's basically the liaison for the vampire who works for the president. And the vampire works for the president because Andrew Johnson, way back when, pardoned this vampire and then made a blood pact that he has to work for any president and anyone who has the authorized voice of the president from now on. And they are battling a group, which I'm still putting the pieces together. But basically this group is like cutting apart dead bodies. So they're already dead, I guess, but they're stealing like arms and legs and trying to reanimate them to make an undead army. There's a lot of gore. There's a lot of weird gore, like unnecessary gore. The German guy is the one who knows how to build the undead army. And he's also mortal because he's not a vampire. He just like drinks people's essence. So he's been dating this young girl and he's like, I don't like her anymore. I'm going to drink her essence to stay youthful. But before he kills her to take her life force, he sticks her hands in a blender and turns on the blender just for fun. So, yeah, it's it's really weird. I kind of like it, again, in like a bad horror movie kind of way. But I also want people to read it because it's one of those things where, like, I want you to suffer with me. I have 3 others that are on the list for this week. American Psycho, Zeus, and A Certain Slant of Light. I'm probably not going to get to those 3. Of the 3, American Psycho is going to be the next one on my list. I want to finish it by the end of November. My goal for tomorrow is to maybe finish Huntress and then focus on Bridge of Clay and American Psycho. So, alright, I'll see y'all tomorrow. It is Thursday night. I don't have much to say, but I'm showered, I'm pajamaed, and I thought I'd do a check-in. I am sitting in a different spot. I thought, you know, I should just keep switching it up. And so we are in front of my fridge. Thought I'd show off my magnet collection. I get a magnet from every place I go, whenever I go from the first time. So I have quite a few. There's some also on the side of the fridge. Some of my favorites. Got this one in Cozumel. When I was younger, I went to San Antonio and did the medieval times. I don't know if you guys ever done that, but I used to love this, that it would spin. And medieval times was so much fun. I also have this one, which I love, just the style of it. It's from the Grand Canyon, obviously. My first one is this one. I got that, I don't even remember picking it out. So on to books, which is like why you're here. So we'll get started with that. I finished Huntress today. We did a sprint over on Laura's library card page. We just kind of finished up with that maybe an hour ago, and I managed to finish Huntress today during that time. It's really all I've read today. I listened to a little bit of Blood Oath after that, and it's just as ridiculous. So you're getting a little bit of the vampire backstory. So that one it was pretty eerie, actually. Huntress is staying at a 3-star for me. I was hoping the ending would save it, and it was actually worse than I expected. It put it solidly in the 3-star rating. I think the romance up until that point had been this nice slow build, and it went from slow build to saying I love you all of a sudden. And I was like, I wish you had just kept it in that slow build. It didn't need to be an absolute we're in love with each other. And then the final battle was not even, I don't know, it was very disappointing. It was like 2 pages and it was over. And after the final battle, they went on this other little quest. And I was like, why are we doing another quest? Why didn't we just prolong that final battle? I was disappointed in that. I really wanted something that just elevated the book, and instead this ended on the opposite. Definitely not a bad read. I need to download American Psycho from the library. They didn't have a copy of it. They just have it in ebook, which doesn't bother me, but I was kind of surprised. So I'm going to get the ebook for that. So anyway, that's all I have today. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Alright, y'all, it is Sunday. I didn't film Friday or Saturday because I didn't read that much. Friday, I read about 40 pages, and Saturday, I read a little bit over 100. So this morning and throughout the day, I really pushed to get through Bridge of Clay, and I did finish. I'll check that off my list. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it probably a 2.5. The flowery writing this time just didn't work quite as well. I felt like I just wanted it to all be a little bit more condensed. And even if it had kept the writing style but cut out 200 pages, it would have been much better. Not to mention the timeline just kept switching between like 3 events that were circling each other, but it didn't go in any order. The timeline was jumping back and forth between past and present and 3 different characters. And so it just got pretty confusing, and I think the overall outcome just wasn't what I wanted. It did turn out to be just a boy building a bridge. So, not my favorite Marcus Zuzak book. I would still recommend The Book Thief to anybody and everybody, but one won't make any top list of mine. So, let's do a real quick wrap up of how I did. I'm going to start with the Clear Your Shit Readathon. I had 3 prompts for this week, and I finished 2 of them. So I finished a book with an animal when I read Mouse, and I finished Intimidating Book with Bridge of Clay. I did not get to scare a book that was supposed to be American Psycho, so I'm going to try and fit that in next week, maybe. Then I also had the Love in the Night readathon going on. I did not get to my Shifter novel or my Try a Different Style. That was going to be A Certain Slant of Light. I'm actually going to try and fit that in next week for one of the mini boss prompts for the other readathon. I did follow all the hosts. Author of Color, I was going to read Zeus. I didn't get to that this week. I bought it on Amazon for my Kindle, so I can read that at any time. Post your TBR, done. Read a sequel. I read Orange volumes 1 through 3, so counting that here. Read a vampire novel. I did Banicula. I did not read the group book or a host favorites. This is going to be my wrap up for this specific readathon. My LGBTQ plus novel was Huntress. And Read a Booktube Darling. I'm actually going to do that next week. That's going to be monstrous. So I'm still kind of working my way through this. I'll eventually cross off all of these, but this is how I did so far. I think it's pretty good considering I only had a week to check these off, so I'm okay with my result. Thanks for keeping up with me, guys. I hope you all had a great week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.